Hi you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Wizarding World Adventure book tag. And I was tagged to do this video by Cindy from Oodles of Books, and I will link her information in the video description below. I will also tag the original creator of this tag, but this is a super fun tag, and so thank you so much for tagging me in it. Let's go ahead and get started. And so this tag is kind of cool because it's based around locations in the Harry Potter universe. The first location is Hogwarts. Talk about a book that taught you some important life lessons. So for this question, I actually have two books, and both of them are nonfiction. The first book is Boundaries in Dating by Drs. Cloud and Townsend. And this is a book that I read right around when I met my husband, and he actually ended up having a copy as well. This, I think, is a really great book if you want to think through how to set healthy boundaries in relationships and how to build healthy relationships while dating that are, respectful for both people and move you in the right direction. I thought this was a great read, and it taught me a lot of useful life lessons. The other book I want to talk about is one that I actually just finished reading, and this is an arc of a book that's coming out this fall. And this is Life is Like a Musical, How to Live, Love, and Lead Like a Star by Tim Federle. And he has been on Broadway. He's a best-selling Broadway playwright. And these are just short little essays on different sort of life lessons, and I think it's really great. There's so much good stuff in this, and I'll probably talk about this a little bit more in my wrap-up, but check this book out. It comes out in October. It's really quick to get through. Each little essay is like 2 or 3 pages long, so it's super short, but they're just inspiring and thought-provoking and just a lot of really good stuff in here. The next location is the Ministry of Magic. Talk about a book that has been kept secret from you until recently. And for this, I'm gonna go with The Selection. I had seen this, but I didn't know it was worth picking up until recently. And so for those of you who've been watching, you probably know that I just picked this up and read it for Booktubeathon and really loved it. This book is like candy, it's fun, it's kind of silly, but it's great and easy to get through. And so I would say that this is one that had been a secret from me until recently. Next is The Burrow. Talk about a book that you can always count on to put a smile on your face. And for this, I want to talk about a book that has been a favorite of mine since childhood, one of the few series that I've reread, and this is the first book in a series, Alana, the First Adventure by Tamara Pierce. If you have not read these are amazing. They're like feminist, fantasy, middle grade novels about this girl who dresses up like a boy so that she can go train to become a knight, and then she ends up having magic. It's just like fantastic. This series is amazing. I've reread it several times. It always makes me smile, always. It just has nostalgia, but it's also just so good. So if you've not read this, you seriously should read this. Next is King's Cross. Talk about a favorite book where the main character goes on an adventure. And for this, I chose Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. It's epic, high fantasy, it's got amazing world building, awesome female characters, and the main character in this story definitely goes on an adventure throughout the book. And the sequel to this Witch is on my TBR for this month, so this is a good one. Godric's Hollow. Talk about a book you picked up despite mixed reviews. And for this, I'm gonna pick a book that I actually didn't know as much had mixed reviews until after I read it, but I certainly discovered after, and that is Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth. I really enjoyed this book. I know that there has been some controversy about it. I think a lot of it is kind of trumped up, and Francina Simone has a great video where she talks about the origins of some of that, which I will link down below if you're interested in hearing a little bit more about that and her thoughts on it. I think it's definitely worth watching, but I loved this. I thought it was really good. Definitely better than the Divergent series. It's a mix of sci-fi and fantasy, and it was just a really great book, and I'm looking forward to the next one in the series. Next is Diagon Alley. Talk about a book you love so much you would pay triple the price if you had to. And for this, I'm actually gonna go with The School for Good and Evil by Soman Chainani. I don't know know if you guys have read this. I haven't heard a lot about it on BookTube. It is a middle grade series, but it is so freaking amazing. It sort of brings fairy tale characters into this boarding school where they're put into houses for either being good or evil, but then it kind of like plays around with what is good and what is evil, and are people what you expect them to be, and it deals with friendship, and it deals with like LGBT issues in a way that's accessible for middle grade readers. And it's not like explicit or anything, but like it's really good, and with gender, and these books are so stinking good. Like, seriously, they're like fun reads and they're really great stories, but they're also just got so much to them, and they're really, really great. Plus, the author is really fun, Soman Chainani. He's just hilarious and really friendly. I met him at BookCon, and I've seen him do YouTube stuff, and he's just great. So this is a book that I would probably pay more for than what I paid, because I just think it's so good and so worth having, and totally something that I'll be passing on to my kids once they're old enough to read it. Next is Azkaban. Talk about a book that almost drove you crazy with how dark and twisted it was. And there are books I could go with that I don't actually own, but I'm trying to go with books on my shelves, and so for this one, I'm gonna go with In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. This is an adult thriller, and it gets fairly creepy and has some like really weird stuff in it, and so I liked it, I enjoyed it, but definitely I would go with that one. Next is Platform 9 3/4. Talk about a book that transported you right into its world. And for this, I want to go with The 1000th Floor by Catherine McGee. This book was so good and so fun and intense, but really awesome. It's set in a futuristic Manhattan where basically all of Central Park has become the base for this 1,000-foot tower where all these people live. Really, really rich people live at the top and the poor people live at the bottom, so it deals with like socioeconomic stuff and teenagers, and I mean, it's really good, and it totally brings you into the world that it's in, so I thought this would be a good one for that. And last but not least is Hogsmeade. Talk about your favorite book that featured an adventurous group of friends. And for this, I'm gonna go with another middle grade book. This is The Iron Trial by Cassandra Clare and Holly Black. This is the first book in their middle grade series, and it's awesome. It's about a group of friends that do go on an adventure, but also this is kind of like Harry Potter almost. It kind of has, it's not, exactly the same story, but it kind of has a similar feel. These kids are going to the secret school for magic, and it just like the richness of the writing and the world building, it's so good. I mean, Cassandra Clare and Holly Black are fantastic anyway, so them collaborating on this series is so good. I know I've talked about a few middle grade series, but some of these are amazing and totally worth a read, even if you normally just do YA, because they're like really high quality. So, The Iron Trial from the Magisterium series. Thanks again for tagging me. This was such a fun tag. I had a blast actually getting to pick out books that I thought fit all of these things and getting to talk about books that I really, really love. So this is fantastic. So I want to tag a few different people. I want to tag Michael S. Deutsch, Books and Looks, Jazzy from Jadzia Miller, and finally, Leanna from Leanna's Library. So I'm tagging you guys to do this tag. It's really fun. Seriously, you should do it. And if you do this tag, please link your video down below, because I would love to see it, although I'll probably see it in my subscription feed anyway, so, it's all good. Let me know in the comments down below, have you guys read any of these books? Did you like them? Did you not like them? What books would you answer for these questions? I'd be really curious to hear other people's responses, because I think it's just like a really cool kind of fun tag to do. I will also put links to all of the books I talked about in the description down below, so if you're interested in checking any of those out, they're there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you can see more. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.